All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's going on, everybody? We're back. Nades and I talking some baseball. 8 games yesterday, 13 games today. Kind of the opposite of yesterday. Pitching is definitely gross. A lot of people will be spending down, a lot of overpriced pitchers. Coors Field on the slate. Diamondbacks, again, the highest team total. But, man, there's a lot of good offenses on the slate. A lot of team totals above 5. A lot of bad pitchers on the slate. That means a lot of good teams to target. A lot of people already here in chat. Appreciate everyone getting in early. Hit that like button, hitting that subscribe button. Nate, throw it to you, man. How's your Tuesday going? What are your thoughts on the slate?
Yeah, a little interesting slate here. Was it interesting night last night? I think we made some good calls. Obviously got some things wrong. Can't get everything right. That's just the nature of the beast when we come on here. We tell you where we're going to go. Doesn't always work out, obviously, but baseball is a long season. Always bankroll management's key. We preach that over here a lot in the Discord. But I had a decent night overall. Man, it just seems like I said, always Texas. It doesn't matter who they're facing, always Texas, right? And they did it again against the left-handed pitcher. We'll talk on them again tonight because they are getting a right-handed pitcher who can be subject to blow-up. So we'll see if people want to chase the Texas blow-up spot. 12 runs last night again. Obviously, the Braves got the job done, but it wasn't necessarily the Braves that I was on. Austin Riley got the job done again, but Olsen kind of struggled. It was more the bottom of the order. Eddie Rosario, Nicky Lopez nuked the slate at basically a bargain bin price point at his $2,500. He's still priced there. So interesting slate, 13 games on tap. Coors Field, definitely interesting. And, yeah, pitching is gross, very gross. It's a wasteland. I'm spending down. That's just the route I'm going. I'm playing bats again. And you guessed it. It's the Braves again, but it's the Braves against a pitcher that I've stacked against the last, 6-7 starts he's made. Not going to change here tonight. So excited to break it down. Looking forward to it. And we'll bring you guys the winners.
Yeah, spending down actually. Usually spending up at least at one spot for pitchers, the chalk way to go. I think double spend down a pitcher, at least one mid-tier, one guy down below is what the popular route. People are going to want D-backs. People are going to want Braves. Good expensive bats on this slate. Before we dive in, talk pitchers, talk game by game like always. Got to say hi to some people in chat. Our man Hamwich in here, like button snatch. Love to see that. Mike Carr, Justin, Nymphu, Bill B in here. Sean Sullivan, saw Sean join yesterday. What's going on, man? Andrew Martinez, Dana Hill, Anthony's in here. Sean V, Trevor Bryan, what's good? Paraby, Izzy in here, Tolga, Smooth in here as well, Jake Swales, as always. Appreciate everyone hanging out like we always do say. 2 things we got to plug before we go. First of all, our partners over there at drafters.com. Use that promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100%, $20 all the way to $100. Put in 100, they give you 100. That's $200. There's a $20 drafts going on right now, $300,000 to first place. Also $3, $30,000 to first place in NFL best ball. We have content over here at Chip Nation. Overlay should be in those contests. No better time, no better word in the industry than overlay. Check that out. And if you do want all of our best ball content, best ball rankings updated today, as well as PGA, MMA, baseball going on right now. NFL will be here before we know it. NBA, NHL as well. We have the deal we came out with last Friday. Blast Off Bundle 3-2-1 comes out to $53 a month. Every projection, stack rankings, proprietary tools, core plays, Discord, everything you need to be successful. $53 a month. Originally $59 a month. That will be going up to $69 a month September 11th. So make sure to get in there. That's enough of me talking, though. You guys came for some baseball. Got to always do that right away, though. Helps us out a ton. And that's how you guys, all of our premium content, ownership, projections, tools, core plays that we're on is behind the paywall. All right, Nades, pitching. Let's go 9. No, we'll go 8.5K and up in this one. Again, 13-game slate, a lot of pitchers to target. I think a lot of ownership is going to be below 8.5K. Multiple pitchers down there that allow you to spend up with bats. But Zach Wheeler, 11.6. That's expensive for him, but probably the top raw points pitcher on the slate. But, man, 11.6 definitely up there. Jordan Montgomery, 11K. Wow. Giolito, 10.7. Ober, Michael Wacha, Bobby Miller, Kikuchi, Bryce Elder, rounds 8.5K and up. Nates, take it away. What do you got?
Yeah, I looking at this range and seeing a lot of overpriced pitchers for the matchup, for their talent level. That's kind of the nature of the slate. I am seeing people push the chips in on Zach Wheeler. I mean, 35, 40, 40% plus ownership on him against Toronto. He is the SP1 for me, but again, it comes down to a price point play. He's 11.6. A little bit pricey for Zach Wheeler. I mean, he's not a Spencer Strider-esque type pitcher, right? So 11.6 for him, approaching 12K on a slate with Coors Field, with the Braves, with Texas, with Boston, you name it, high priced. You got Cardinals at home against the bad Oakland pitching staff. I mean, you have high priced bats you want to play for in good matchups against bad pitchers. I can't do it personally. But if I was spending up, if I had salary cap was not an issue, Zach Wheeler would be number one for me. Even at the ownership, I think it is a good matchup. He ranks very well in our pitcher rankings over here. Yeah, Toronto doesn't strike out a ton, but Zach Wheeler has the second best K rate of all pitchers on the slate. I think he is the raw points guy. He's going to be owned like it. Jordan Montgomery, I can't play 11K for Jordan Montgomery. I get it. Everyone saw what Max Scherzer just did right last night. I can't do it. Yeah, he should have run support for him behind him, but 11K for Jordan Montgomery. I mean, this dude was an 8K pitcher for majority of the season title. We were paying 8K for this guy. Now he's $3,000 more expensive against the team with Ohtani and some other guys. Yeah, there's strikeouts in there. I can't do it. I'm out on him. Giolito, not playing Giolito against Texas. I'm never playing a right-handed pitcher against Texas when Texas is at home, especially at a price point of 10.7. So I'm out on him. Bailey Ober, I do like against Detroit. Does get a good matchup here. Going to probably be 25 to 30% owned, a little bit lower than Zach Wheeler. Get a nice little savings, $1,400 savings off of Zach Wheeler. I do think Bailey Ober makes a good play. He's got a good matchup here against Detroit. Pitching at home, it is pretty decent weather, if I'm not mistaken, in Minnesota there for hitting, but it's still Detroit's offense. I'm not really afraid of their offense too much. So I do like Bailey Ober up the top. I'm out on Wacha. Not going to target this Baltimore team on a 13-game slate, especially with a guy like Michael Wacha, making. I think this is I think he was on the IL. He's back now. I think making his first start back against Baltimore here. I'm out on him. Nobody's going to really play him, but I'm also not going to play him. Bobby Miller, I do have a little bit of interest in. Gets a matchup with our Brewers title at home. Not really afraid of this Brewers lineup, to be honest with you. Yeah, they don't strike out a ton against righties, but should have run support. I think the Dodgers can get to Adrian Hauser as the late night hammer at home. So Bobby Miller at 9.3, I think, is a viable play. Kikuchi's interesting. I'm seeing him getting a decent amount of ownership. He's got a pretty good projection here. Ranks okay on our pitcher rankings. I'm just never a Kikuchi guy. So it's a love-hate guy. I mean, especially Kikuchi at 9K. Could he get it? Yeah. Looking at this Phillies lineup, let me just look real quick. The Phillies on the road. So that's why, he's getting ownership. Phillies strike out right around 26% against lefties on the road this season. Especially Rojas in there, 40% strikeout rate. Sosa, 23. Harper, Castellanos both strike out over 30%. Schwarber strikes out at 37%. So there's a lot of strikeouts in that lineup. There's only 4 bats out of the 9 hitters in there that strike out under 20%. So Kikuchi, I do think, is a fine play at 9K. Just looking at this lineup that's confirmed for the Phillies. I think it should be a pitcher's duel there in Toronto with Wheeler on one side. Should maybe get Kikuchi a little bit more edge to go out there and compete with Zach Wheeler. So I don't mind both pitchers in that game. It's just a price point thing. So if you have 9K, I prefer Bobby Miller if you have $300 to get up to Bobby Miller. But both of them are fine, I think. Bryce Elder, I'm not a Bryce Elder guy. His strikeout stuff just hasn't been there. 17%. Yankees kind of got to who was it? Morton last night?
Fried.
Yeah, Max Fried. Yeah. Yankees kind of got to Fried a little bit last night. Bryce Elder, 8,700. I just need a strikeout rate. I need strikeouts in this game in DFS for pitchers. I just can't do it. 17% strikeout rate on the season against these Yankees. Good hitting weather in Atlanta like it always is this time of the year. So I'm out on him. So really for me up in this range, I mean, it's Kikuchi, it's Zach Wheeler, and then it's Bailey Ober and Bobby Miller. So I'd probably rank them. Zach Wheeler, number 1. Bailey Ober, number 2, Bobby Miller 3, and then Kikuchi 4. So kind of in the same as they're priced is kind of where I'm at. But realistically, I'm fine I'm skipping this entire range, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, some construction will be one pitcher in this range and then go someone below 8K. Some people will definitely go like Nick Pivetta, I think probably comes in the highest owned on the slate. He's 7.8K. Pitchers below that. Some people will just start Pivetta SP1, pay down below there. 2 people in this 8.5K range and higher, though, I think is pretty contrarian. I like Wheeler all the way at 11.6. It definitely is overspending for him, but I have him as the best raw points pitcher on the slate. And if I'm going to overspend for someone, I prefer Wheeler to Montgomery. So X there. Definitely not Giolito, 10.7 against the Rangers. Easy X there. I do like Ober more when you're talking the $1,400 savings from Wheeler, but I actually think Ober's probably going to be a little higher owned than Zach Wheeler just because grade out pretty similar K props as well, but that 1,400 goes a long way. So if that's the case and Ober's something like 30, 35%, Wheeler's 20, they're about the same ownership. I'd prefer Bailey Ober, but Tigers' lowest team total on the slate. Definitely no Michael Wacha making his first start back in a while. Pitch count won't be there. I like Bobby Miller, though. Brewers have the lowest or second lowest team total. The bottom of the order, there's just not too much power. Get outside of Contreras, Adames, not too many scary bats in Dodger Stadium. It is warmer than usual, 80 degrees there, but you did mention Dodgers should have run support behind Bobby Miller against Hauser too. So don't mind him. He's more of a floor 15, 20 than he is like Kikuchi right below him, 9K. That's all the upside. Could have downside as well, but 6.5K prop. The highest on the slate actually is Kikuchi. Been very good as of late, so no Bryce Elder for me. So yeah, it'd be Kikuchi, Miller, Ober, Wheeler, my 4 up top. Probably with the price, probably Kikuchi my favorite at 9K, Wheeler, Ober, Bobby Miller, but those would be my 4 for sure. We'll move down though because like talked about a lot of options. Jack Flaherty, 8.4K. Been better as of late as well against the Padres. I think he gets some ownership. Pivetta mentioned him. I think he's probably the chalkiest on the slate. There is a little weather in that game to monitor. So the Pitt and the Mets, Roth has that tagged as orange, the scariest of the slate. Boston, Washington, though, he has his yellow. So monitor possible delay for Pivetta. That would definitely throw a wrinkle in this slate. But assuming he's good to go, I think he's probably the most popular. Throw a couple other names for you, Nades. Kyle Hendricks, always gross saying it. Tuki Toussaint, Zach Littell, we talked about him a little bit. Then 2 other names way down below. Dakota Hudson, I think gets ownership. Anyone against Oakland, people will play pretty much free. 4.5K prop. Juice on the over. I think he's one of the chalkier options too, which is crazy. Emerson Hancock, the other guy I need you to talk about right below. So what do you got 8.5K and below?
Yeah, my favorite pitcher in this range is the guy up at the top, Jack Flaherty against San Diego. I like him. New team here. I think he can go out there and get strikeouts. I mean, Trent Grisham, 30%. G-Man Choi, if he's in there, 30%. Kim, 26%. So I think Flaherty, I mean, he's got a 23% strikeout rate on the year. 8.4K, I think, is a fine price point. Got a pretty good projection as well. I don't look at projections very much at all in baseball, but the one spot I do is at the pitcher position just because it's a lot more projectable, not a lot more projectable. It's just more projectable in the nature of versus bats. So I do like his projection. Probably going to be sub 10% owned because everyone sees the matchup against San Diego, but I think he's fine. And like I said, I talked on the Orioles bats a little bit too. I think the Orioles can give him run support with Wacha making his first start. I saw people talk about it in the chat. Orioles have had pretty good success against Wacha as well. So gives me a little boost to Flaherty. I like him quite a bit. Not throwing Hauser against Dodgers. No thanks on that. Pavetta's interesting. I'm not going to go there personally. I mean, that's kind of the guy that people are navigating to, gravitating towards right now. I mean, 25 to 30+%, I would assume. Here, Petta against Washington. Washington just doesn't strike out. It's 85 degrees in Nationals Park. There is a little weather concern. About 9 miles an hour wind blowing out to start the game. So I'm going to be off Petta there. I just like other guys cheaper. I like Flaherty for a little bit more expensive at minimal ownership. So I'm going to be off Petta here because I do think that's on a 13-game slate. That's kind of where people are gravitating towards is Petta, right? They see the Washington, but looking at this Washington lineup and the weather, with the weather concerns, the warm weather, 85 degrees, slight wind blowing out too, and a team that strikes out under 20% as a team. I mean, there's 3 bats in there that strike out over 20%. That's Lane Thomas, Jake Alou, and this Blake Rutherford guy down there. But that's only two plate appearance sample for Blake. So I'm going to be out on him. I just don't think he has the upside that's needed at the price point there when you factor in ownership. Josiah Gray, I'm not going to play Josiah Gray here in that same game. Again, I mean, sub 20% strikeout rate on the year. I need strikeouts when you're looking pitchers on this slate. So I'm out on him. Not going to throw an opener and Jacob Junis, so I'm out on him. Kyle Hendricks, man, I've never been a Kyle Hendricks guy, but he does get this matchup that I've targeted quite a bit. This White Sox matchup, I mean, 24% K rate on the season. Everyone in this lineup outside of 2 bats strikes out over 20%. But Kyle Hendricks, I mean, 16% strikeout rate on the year. He's just goes out there, game manages. I think he could be fine to get you 14, 15 DraftKings points title. I don't know if that's enough. It might be enough at 7,400. So I don't hate it. I just don't think he has a ton of upside. He's just not a huge strikeout arm. If he gets into trouble, it's tough to make it back, right? When pitchers get in trouble, they need strikeouts to make those earned runs back. I don't know if Kyle Hendricks can do that, but I do think if he gets you 14, 15 at 7,400, I think it's fine. Touki Toussaint in that same game right there. I mean, he has more upside, in my opinion, than Kyle Hendricks does for a little bit cheaper. I mean, 6,900. So I think picking between Toussaint and Hendricks, I'd rather just go to Toussaint. You save money. He's got a better strikeout rate. Yeah, it's a tougher matchup in terms of strikeouts throughout the lineup, but you're saving some money. I don't hate it. I mean, if he gets you, he's got a better projection right now than Kyle Hendricks does, and he's cheaper, and that's due to the strikeout upside, right? He's got a better strikeout rate, better strikeout stuff. So don't hate that. But man, it's pretty gross down here. Sean Manaea, if we hear more word that he is going to be that long reliever there in San Francisco, we went through this case last time, right, Title, where long reliever never came in, and it was
yesterday too. Happened just yesterday. Manaea was supposed to be the long reliever. That's why everyone's expecting it today, but who the heck knows?
Yeah, you never know at the end of the day. But if he is the long reliever, I mean, he is only 5,900 against Tampa. I think he's a fine play. But I actually like Emerson Hancock a lot down there, 5,500. Made a good start against the Padres. I think we were talking on the Padres bats in that game when he was making his major league debut against the Padres. Still posted a decent score against the Padres. Went 6 innings, I think, something like that. About 87 pitches. I think he's fine here. 5,500. Looking at the weather in Kauffman Stadium again. I mean, wind kind of blowing across the field. It's in the 70s. It's not like 90 degrees, 100 degrees like it has been in Kansas City. 5,500. I just think he's got good strikeout stuff. I think he can get strikeouts against this Royals team, and 5,500 is dirt cheap for him. So down here, I mean, I think Touki Toussaint's fine. Hendricks is fine. He's probably my least favorite, but my favorite is definitely Jack Flaherty, followed by Emerson Hancock, and then those 2 other I brought up. And then if we get any more clarification on Sean Manaea, I think he's a fine play as well.
Yeah, good breakdown. Someone asked, any interest in Dakota Hudson. I think he's going to be the second most popular pitcher on the slate or third most popular. And when that's the case, I mean, it feels like Mikolas yesterday. Everyone's just going there because of the matchup, the nature of the slate. There was enough pivots. Singer in that range, Grayson Rodriguez, some things we did get right yesterday. Pivots in that range. I think Emerson Hancock's a better pivot right there for half the ownership, a third of the ownership. Otherwise, there's just 13 games. Like, if you want to go Kyle Hendricks, otherwise you can just avoid the whole range. People are going to go Petta, Hudson, Pavetta something, overspend for a Wheeler or something like that. No one's going to go over Wheeler. There's always enough cheap bats on the slate, but I like Bobby Miller a lot. Kikuchi we talked about. Yeah, in this range below 8.5 for me really quick. Flaherty I like at 8.4K, one of my favorites. Hendricks, he just like 3.5K prop. I mean, that is so tough to click, especially when he's going to get some ownership. So probably don't love him as much. Rather chase the upside. Flaherty right above, Bobby Miller, Kikuchi, others all the way down. I'm in agreement. I like Hancock with you as well against some of these Royals, but I don't think Hudson's the craziest play. I mean, you hope you get 14, 15, but if he's going to be 25, 30%, man, that's a lot tougher button to click in my opinion. I'd rather eat the Pavetta chalk than I would the Hudson chalk, just like the Scherzer of yesterday. So that's how I rank pitching. My 4, I guess it really doesn't change much. I don't know. Kikuchi, I always love targeting the upside with Kikuchi. Kikuchi, Pavetta, Ober, Wheeler, Bobby Miller, I'll say. Those are my 5 favorites. What do you got? Finalized pitching for us, Nades.
Yeah, I'm going Flaherty. Hancock's going to be in there. Those 2. Zach Wheeler up at the top. Bailey Ober. And then I would say probably a split between Kikuchi and Miller. I'll say Kikuchi just for the higher upside. So those are my 5.
So touch on Zach Littell quick. Jake's guy, he talks about him all the time on the last show. See people talking in the comment section quick. 6.8K gets the Giants. The thing for me, 3.5K prop. His pitch count, he's already like 80, 85 max. So even if he's absolutely rolling, you're not going to get the 100, which limits his upside a bit. What are your thoughts on him before we move on?
I just wish he had a better strikeout rate, to be honest. I mean, 20% strikeout rate from what I'm seeing. He's not super stretched out, is on the Rays staff. They're easy to pull the plug pretty quick on a lot of, I mean, even their aces. So let alone Zach Littell coming in here. I just think there's other guys. I mean, if he was 5,800 or 5,500, yeah, maybe. But I mean, David Peterson, I think I didn't touch on him too much, but I mean, he's going to get ownership. He gets a good, decent matchup against Pittsburgh for cheaper. Touki Toussaint a little bit more. I just think those 2 guys that are sandwiched around Littell just have more upside, to be honest. And they're not dealing with the Giants. I mean, they're going to roll out a splits-heavy lineup here against Littell like they always do. So I'm out on Littell, but I could understand the case for playing him. I'd just rather pay a little bit more or go a little bit cheaper with Hancock, Peterson, Manaea versus deal with Littell and his pitch count concern.
Yeah, no, any of those guys in this range, I mean, pitching's so up for grabs today. I think hitting's a lot more condensed. But if you like Fado, you like Toussaint, David Peterson, Jordan Lyles, I saw my man Hebrew Cheetah mention at 1%. Any of those guys, I mean, they get you 15. That could be enough on the slate. I think hitting's what wins it. So, Jake, you like your man Littell, should be low owned right in that dead range. Go for it. It's baseball, man. We've seen a lot crazier things happen. That's pitching 13 games. Again, we appreciate if you hit that like button. Takes 1 second out of your day. Helps us out a ton over here at SHIPITNation.com. And if you want to join us over here, just had a new bundle we released. Blast Off 321, $321 for the next 6 months. Comes out to $53 a month. NFL, that takes you all the way to the Super Bowl. And September 11th, Monday Night Football. After that day, prices will be going up. Was $59 a month, going up to $69 a month, $699 a year with NBA, NHL coming back. So much going on, so much money to be made in the DFS streets. We will help you out. SHIPITNation.com. Get in the Discord. Nate's game by game, 13 of them to talk about. Buckle in. Let's give some winners. First game, Boston Red Sox, Washington Nationals. Nick Pivetta, Josiah Gray on the mound. 80 degrees. People in chat were asking, you didn't really have a lot of interest in Pivetta. They were saying, what about these Nats then? Little above 14 total. Get some leverage off of Pivetta. Good hitting weather. Your boy Abrams, a lot of people cheap in the bottom of the order. So I don't think the Nats are the craziest thing. As far as Boston, pretty good team total sitting here. Devers will get some ownership. Some cheap bats littered in this lineup as well, though. Interesting first game, 9.5 total in Washington. What do you like?
Yeah, I like these Washington lefties a little bit. Starts in the back, and my guy CJ Abrams, DraftKings finally got him priced up. I still think he's fine. Washington rolling out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lefties. Obviously, 2 of those are switch hitters, but that's how you target Pivetta is left-handed batters, especially over the last 30 days. Yeah, he's got a good strikeout rate against lefties, but also gets hit hard, fly ball guy to the left side of the plate. So just picking out some home runs, mini stack, I think is fine for the Nationals. Don't love it, but it's just more of the case of why I'm kind of off Pivetta, other options in the range. I just don't think the Nats team just overall as a team just doesn't strike out a ton. So on a full slate, that's the reason for Pivetta. I do think the Nationals would stick to the lefties mainly. On the Red Sox side, I think the Red Sox are fine. Obviously, this is one of the games with some weather concern. Roth has it tagged as yellow right now, so definitely monitor that if you are playing this game. But Red Sox have a pretty good healthy implied run total. Tristan Casas is hitting the ball really well right now. I think he's fine in the 5-hole. Not in love with Trevor Story. He just hasn't looked great to me since he's returned. Rafael Devers, you can always play him. Justin Turner. Obviously, got to make a case between Justin Turner and you do not. Justin Turner is now second base. So I actually like those top guys quite a bit. Verdugo, Jarren Duran, you can always play their upside bat. But, I mean, these Red Sox prices are pretty expensive, to be honest here. Josiah Gray is still a decent pitcher overall. So I think there's better spots on the slate, but decent weather here in Washington. Pretty good healthy implied run total for Red Sox, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. I don't think it's the craziest thing. More mini stacks only for me in this game, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think mini stacks on both sides is fine. I like other 5-mans a lot more on this slate, though. So pretty lockstep there. Apone said, what will you offer for NBA? So we have not had our NBA meeting yet. I do not know everything for sure, but what I do know, projections that were very good last year got Tambo to multiple live final seats. You definitely need projections in NBA. We'll have those. As far as core report, just like we have for baseball, slate plan that breaks down the slate in very little time. Cash cores on both sites as well. I think some sort of like DVP rankings like we'll have for football. Again, NBA focus on NFL right now and our meetings there, but shows every single day like this. So a usual NBA thing. We'll have any additional pieces, though, of content. Expect projections, expect core cash reports, core play, slate plan, but probably more to offer there. Again, NBA does roll through when you get that 3-2-1 blast off package. NBA will be going on multiple months throughout that, as well as NHL that Nades crushes projections over there as well. Keeping it rolling, Philadelphia Phillies, Toronto Blue Jays, Zach Wheeler, UC Kikuchi, 7.5 total. Both pitchers are going to get some ownership in this game. No chance I'm going to get to any bats. A lot worse pitchers on the slate to attack. Big X for me. What about you, Nades?
Yeah, no chance. Cross off, not even one-offs in this one. I think both pitchers are good here. I think we see a pitcher's duel. Won't mind pairing them together. I always like doing that. It is a little pricey, but hey, you got a different roster construction than a field if you do that because you can't play Coors, can't play the Braves, you can't play these other high-price offenses. So both pitchers, no bats for me.
I like it. Lockstep. Keep it rolling. Pittsburgh Pirates, New York Mets, Bailey Falter, and David Peterson on the mound. Who knows how long Falter's going to go? 3-4 innings, maybe 5 if he's pitching well. 75 degrees, though. Not the best hitting weather on the slate. I don't know. Both these teams kind of fall in the boat for me. So many better spots. 13 games, 26 teams. A lot more than I like. A lot of teams I like more than these two. So probably not even mini stacks at best. I like Red Sox, Nats more for mini stacks. So another cross-off. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Cross off. I mean, you can play Lindor, you can play Alonso, you can play Alvarez, and I mean those three right there, 2, 3, 4, I think is a fine mini stack. Vientos has bumped up a couple spots. I feel like I bring him up every day, but he's just. I mean, you can never go wrong with a guy that can hit a home run at 2,400. So value guy, fine. I mean, decent lineup position, but yeah, not a ton of interest. Much rather go to that Red Sox and Washington game for mini stack. So. David Peterson, ground ball pitcher for the most part, not going to target that. And Falter, I mean, I don't know how long he's going to throw, and then it's a bullpen game, and I really never like targeting that. So really no bats for me in this one.
I like it. Boss Bro says Alonso going deep. Yeah, he's been on fire. He probably does. Will be very low owned if you want a nice little one-off. there. Next game, New York Yankees. What's going on, Richie Smalls? Hope everything's going well. New York Yankees, Atlanta Braves, Luis Severino, Bryce Elder, 80 degrees in Atlanta, wind blowing out a little bit, 10.5 total. Bryce Elder doesn't miss many bats. I don't think the Yankees are the craziest thing at very low ownership. Good hitting weather, guaranteed ninth inning at bats. No one's going to play him. So I don't think they're the craziest thing. Braves, though, you mentioned your favorite stack on the slate. Severino has been so bad this year. I mean, got the job done yesterday a little bit. Definitely could have got the job done more. Lefties grade out way better against Severino. They got Michael Harris in the 2-hole, Matt Olson, cleanup, Eddie Rosario in the 6th spot, Nicky Lopez, 2.5K, outfield shortstop eligible. But any of those righties you can mix into 3-man, 5-man, all of them, Nades, hey?
Yeah, same story as always. Don't forget Arcia down there at shortstop, 4,200. He still had a good game last night. Got dwarfed, obviously, by Lopez for the salary savings there. You can play them together because Lopez you can play at the outfield position. But kind of the same story as yesterday. I'm a little bit lower on Acuna, much higher on the lefties for sure. Lefties are a starting point for me. Rosario, I hate targeting guys coming off a big game like Rosario did, but his price didn't move. And Severino is absolutely horrendous. I mean, opposing lefties are hitting for a 500 ISO against him with almost a 40% fly ball rate. So I do like the Braves, like always. They're my top stack of the day. Start with the lefties, add in the righties like Ozuna, I like a lot. Austin Riley's on a tear right now, I like a lot. So love the Braves. On the Yankees side, I think the Yankees are fine here. Aaron Judge, obviously, can always play Aaron Judge. But Bryce Elder over the last 30 days, 3.4% strikeout rate to the lefties. So I don't hate some of these lefties. Billy McKinney, Jake Bowers, even Ben down there if you need a punt catcher in the 9-hole because lefties do have a 224 ISO against him with a 36% fly ball rate. So Jake Bowers kind of boomer bust against right-handed pitching. So I don't hate that. But, yeah, give me the lefties. If Bowers is in there, I don't know if I don't see a confirmed lineup, at least in our sheet. But if he's in there, like the lefties, and then obviously you can always play Aaron Judge, but much prefer the Braves side in this one.
Yeah, I don't see a lineup out yet either. Can definitely load up on the Braves. People saying Babe Lopez, people talking Nicky Lopez down there. Yeah, load up on these Braves. Just another day ending in Y. Wouldn't it be nice to be a Braves fan? But keeping it rolling. We appreciate that like button. Appreciate that subscribe button. Over 200 people watching Grinding Baseball in the heart of August. NFL right around the corner. Still baseball will be going on. We'll be having baseball shows even in September, closing out the regular season. Next game, Detroit Tigers, Minnesota Twins. Alex Fado, Bailey Ober on the mound. 80 degrees in Minnesota. Twins got about a 5-team total. They are cheap. Highest expensive bat, 4.4K is Polanco. Man, like people earlier talked me off the Twins. I'll let you talk, Nades. Anytime I'm on the Twins, they suck. I jump off the Twins, they go for 15. I'm not even going to say anything. The people need to hear Nades' take on these Twins, not mine.
Well, Twins are one of my favorite stacks of the night. Right now, I love them as a mini stack to my Braves because I can 5-man the Braves. And guess what? The Twins have some good bats that are hitting the ball well right now that fit the positions that I don't want right now on the Braves. Second base, third base, Polanco. I love him. I mean, he's hitting the ball well. 336 ISO against right-handed pitching at home. And Fado is cheeks. He's not any good. He's definitely worse against lefties too. And while you got two of my favorite lefties on the board, Max Kepler, Matt Wallner. I mean, Matt Wallner's price never moves. He's got a 460 ISO at home against right-handed pitching. You can book him for a home run right now at this point in the show. I love him, 2,400. Hitting in the 5-hole tonight. Max Kepler, I think he goes deep as well. Love these lefties. And then you can add any of these other guys in this lineup. I mean, they're super cheap, good total, bad pitching staff that they're getting a face, decent weather. So, yeah, I'm on the Twins. If they burn me, they burn me. But they've treated me pretty well over the last month or so. I've played a lot of these Twins mini stacks. They've done me well. And their price points never move. That's the biggest thing. I mean, these guys keep hitting home runs. Warner's price moved up $400, and he's got to have almost double-digit home runs now. I don't follow home run totals too much, but every time I play him, it feels like he hits a home run. So I do like that. On the Tigers side, not playing any Tigers against Bailey Ober. I like Bailey Ober quite a bit on the slate for pitching. So no Tigers for me, but yeah, Twins, one of my favorite stacks of the night.
I like it. Walder does have 7, but a lot of them do feel like it's been as of late. You like the Twins, so I'm going to say I don't like the Twins' Nades. I'm going to help you out here. Full fade for the Twins over here. They will go off for Nades then. Baseball Dad, awesome to see you in here, man. Hope all is well. Catching a video live. Do love to see that. Willie Castro, Jake likes as well. Keeping it rolling. We got 8 games left to talk about. Still a bunch of baseball. Oakland A's, St. Louis Cardinals. Spencer Watkins pitching for the A's. Dakota Hudson on the Cardinals. I would like the Nats. Like, I think Dakota Hudson gets pretty good amount of ownership, but I think Petta probably is the most popular. I'd rather just go right to the Nats if I do want all the leverage off of chalky pitchers. So don't really love these A's. As far as the Cardinals, one of the highest team totals, Spencer Watkins, and then a bad bullpen behind. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with any of these Cardinals. I do like the Braves more, like we're talking in a vacuum though, but definitely like some of these Cardinals. Cheap pieces, Taylor Motter, second base, third base, 2.1K. Nizer down there, 2.9. Jordan Walker, Tyler O'Neill. Plenty of cheap bats. Burleson, Ben, cleanup, 2.9K as well. So Cardinals are easy to stack. If you want to go like a Wheeler something combination, I like them, but I definitely do like the Braves more. What about you? What do you see in this game?
Yeah, I think the Cards are fine. I'm actually on some of these A's again. I were on some of the A's last night. Geloff. My lineup that did pretty good was a mini A stack, 3-man A stack. It was a 5-3. I forgot the main stack, but yeah, the A's got the job done. Geloff, I think, is a fine play again. Brent Rooker, I like him. Seth Brown, Diaz, Soderstrom, and Lawrence Butler. Kind of that middle of the lineup. Not a ton of interest in Ruiz, Nick Allen, or Tony Kemp. I like that middle of the lineup. All of them hit right-handed pitching pretty good. A couple of them don't have a super high strikeout rate in there. So Hudson's kind of the de facto cheap guy that people are playing right now against these A's. I made the same case last night in the same matchup. Same thing stays true. I like some of these A's bats. On the flip side, Cardinals, I like the Cardinals more as a mini stack. I don't think I'm going to 5-man stack them, but won't fault anyone for 5-man stacking a team against Oakland and a pitcher. What is this? His first start, I think.
I think it's the first start for the A's. But yeah, it was on the Orioles.
Yeah, first start for the A's. I mean,
or
they're
at least
fine.
In a minute, beginning of the year, maybe. I don't even. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any of his metrics pulling into our stuff right now. So I just figured it was one of his first starts. So A's preference mini stacks. Cardinals for me more mini stacks too. I like Alec Burleson, Tyler O'Neill, that mini stack right there, 4-5. Both guys are cheap. Both guys have some power. Don't hate that. Obviously, you can always play Arenado. You can always play Goldschmidt. But I'm already spending at Atlanta. I mean, I'm probably having Atlanta on every one of my teams tonight. That's just the way I'm pushing the chips in. Severino, I've stacked against this guy all year, so it's not going to change. So mini stacks in this one for me, both sides I think are doable here.
I like it. Keeping it rolling. Next game on the slate, Chicago White Sox, Chicago Cubs, Touki Toussaint, Kyle Hendricks, not the best hitting weather, only 70 degrees in Wrigley, wind blowing in a little bit. Hendricks, he's a better real-life pitcher than DFS, ground balls. No thank you for any of these White Sox. The Cubs, pretty interesting. I don't think ownership will really be there. Don't see a lineup out yet. Touki can be wild, does have a big arm a little bit. I think it's probably just fully 5-man these Cubs. Hope Tuki's off early. And then you get the worst bullpen arms there. Just get the Cubs going early, but not great hitting weather, 13-game slates. Other teams I like more, but I don't think the Cubs are a cross-off. What about you?
Yeah, I think the Cubs have a decent implied run total. Looking at last 30-day numbers, Horner has hit righties pretty good. Talkman, Happ, Bellinger, Swanson, Candelario have hit him well. Miguel Amaya, if he's in there, have hit right-handed pitching well. So we'll look at those guys because they all have pretty low strikeout numbers. All of those guys that I just mentioned outside of Swanson strike out under 20% and have ISO numbers north of 200 plus. So power, low strikeouts, I think are fine against a guy that can get wild. And Toussaint is definitely worse against the left side of the plate, just a 13% strikeout rate. So don't think it's the craziest thing, but again, it's one of those cases. I think you can play both sides. I do think Toussaint has some upside at the price point with his strikeout rate and stuff that we've seen, his bigger arm at just 6,900. But I definitely like other spots better for bats, but would definitely prefer the Cubs side in this one if I went anywhere.
I like it. Before we get to the next game, always like game theory questions. When playing satellites with the field about 100, 200, you approach it more of a cash game, GPP, or a little both since you're playing for first most of the time. Definitely GPP. Your last sentence or your last couple words answer that because you're playing for first, you need to take first out of 100, first out of 200, or top 3, whatever it may be. Cash games, you got to beat out 50% of the field. GPPs, you play for first. So definitely go GPP style. And that means, of course, ownership takes into account more stacking, shooting for ceiling, not caring as much about the floor. So good question there, Robert. Haven't seen you in YouTube chat as much either. So nice new face in here. Hope everything is going well. Keeping it rolling, Nades. Plenty more to talk about still. Los Angeles Angels, Texas Rangers, Lucas Giolito, Jordan Montgomery, 2 of the highest price pitchers on the slate. I mean, Texas Rangers, though, 4.9 team total. Giolito, up and down pitcher. You mentioned earlier you think you have some interest in these Rangers. Giolito, 21 last time out, negative 13. 11, 23, negative 4. Is it going to be one of his negatives or one of his 20-point performances, Nades?
I think there's a good chance it's going to be another negative score here out of Giolito. I mean, these Rangers, I talk about the Rangers all year long against righties at home. Doesn't change here against Giolito. I mean, he gets barreled. He gets hit pretty hard, especially from the left side of the plate. I mean, he's given up 19% walks over the last 30 days, the left side of the plate, just a 21% strikeout rate. And both sides of the plate have a 316 ISO against him over the last 30 days. And guess what the Rangers do? The Rangers hit bombs. So like the Rangers quite a bit. Semien, Seager, Lowe. I mean, 1 through 9 are in play for me because you do get some cheap guys down at the bottom. JP Martinez, I don't have a ton of interest in him. Janikowski, not a ton of interest in him, but those guys are cheap to make the stack more doable. Obviously, got to take a pick between Garver and Jonah Heim. I prefer Jonah Heim. He's just got lower strikeouts. He's more expensive, so he's going to be lower owned as well. I like Mitch Garver a lot more versus left-handed pitching than I do righties. He's still fine, but would just prefer to find $400, get up to Jonah Heim. You get the switch hitting there as well. So, yeah, Rangers, definitely one of the top stacks. I wish they didn't go for 12 runs last night and nuke the slate because I do think they pick up more ownership because of that. But I've always played the Rangers at home this season against right-handed pitching, especially against a righty here in Giolito, who I think does have some good stuff, but he does have the tendencies to blow up here, and this could be another blow-up spot for him. So like the Rangers, a decent amount here. Angels for me, not a ton of interest in the Angels at all. Obviously, you can always play Ohtani, but outside of that, I mean, this team, yeah, they don't strike out a ton. I mean, there's a couple low strikeout bats in there, but they don't hit for a lot of power either outside of Ohtani. So not going to stack the Angels, not going to play the Angels. But if you want a low-owned one-off, 6,700 Ohtani is right there for you.
Yeah, if you guys are watching and you're like, Rangers are my favorite stack on the slate, and you're debating them not playing it because of ownership, I definitely wouldn't do that. With Coors on the field with the D-backs, with the Braves, still think Rangers ownership in check. I do agree with what Nate says. Probably would be a little lower if yesterday they put up 2 runs instead of 12, but still relative to the slate, 13 games, wouldn't fade much because of ownership. Plenty of ways to get different at pitching too. Keep it rolling. Seattle Mariners, Kansas City Royals, Emerson Hancock, Jordan Lyles, 9.5 total, 75 degrees in KC. I mean, both sides. Mariners, 5.1 team total. Royals about 4.4. Jordan Lyles definitely has not been as good this year. Can put the ball in play against them. Mariners have some power. I don't see a lineup out yet, but middle of the order has some expensive bats. Bottom of the order should have some cheap bats. I think you could definitely do crazier than the Mariners. As far as the Royals, yeah, I'm with you. I like Hancock. You like Hancock, but it is the second start in the MLB. These Royals been hitting a little better as of late. Always get Salvi at the catcher position, Bobby Witt at shortstop. Bottom of the order, always cheap. So I don't think it's a crazy game to go to on either side. Would limit Royals to a 3-man. I think you could 5-man the Mariners. I definitely like the Braves more, but yeah, I think Mariners are pretty good. What do you see in this one?
Yeah, I'm seeing right now the Mariners' second highest owned team on the slate because of Jordan Lyles. I don't hate some of it. I would stick to the lefties. Cal Raleigh, Canzone has a nice price point in there. He's projected to hit cleanup right now at 2,500. I think that's a nice price. That's a good play there. Mike Ford, if he's in there, Josh Rojas. I like the lefties a little bit more than the righties just because Lyles definitely is worse against the left side of the plate, just an 11% strikeout rate. Fly ball pitcher to both sides of the plate. So We know what Jordan Lyles does. I mean, he gives up home runs. So Mariners do have a lot of home run guys in here. Obviously, a lot of strikeouts do come with that as well. So if you do have a take on Jordan Lyles, like our guy in the chat did, sure, you can play Jordan Lyles. You can play pretty much any pitcher against these Mariners. I mean, they just have a very strikeout-happy lineup, but it does come with power. They're kind of boom-bust, kind of like the Twins in a sense right now. It feels like I put the Twins and the Mariners kind of in the same category. A lot of strikeouts, have guys that have power in that lineup. So lefties for me, for the Mariners, more mini stacks. I'm not 5-manning the Mariners, especially with them getting ownership. But Cal Raleigh, Canzone, if those guys are hitting 3-4, I think that's a great mini stack right there. So I like that. On the Royals side, I do like Hancock. It's just more, I think he can go out there and throw 5 or 6 innings, get some strikeouts, even if he does give up some runs. I mean, he's 5,500. I mean, there's multiple bats on the slate that are priced higher than him, and he's going to be he could have a chance to like I said, get some strikeouts in this lineup and get points very quickly. So if you're not playing him, I think Bobby Witt, Massey, Perez, Melendez, Drew Waters, I think is always fine too. Switch hitter down there, cheap, 2,600 with some power. So don't hate the Royals. More mini stacks in this game, kind of falls in that same mini stack category. Not going to 5-man either one of these teams, but definitely prefer the Mariners mini stack more because I do like Hancock more than I like Lyles.
I like it. The more we keep talking, the more I like pushing the chips on with the Braves. Plenty of other different ways to go at pitching and secondary stacks. But we got 4 games left. Still to talk about Nades. Coors Field, very good hitting weather, 90 degrees in Colorado. D-backs and the Rockies. Ty Block and get this bullpen game from the Diamondbacks. This Natapli guy, but it looks like a bullpen game for the D-backs. Man, 12.5 total, 90 degrees. Balls will be flying. D-backs, the most popular team on the slate. The Rockies going to get some ownership as well, though. Cheap pieces at the bottom of the order for the Rockies. Cheap pieces at the bottom of the order for the D-backs. I like the Rocky side, man. I do think D-backs still come in probably 3-4 times higher owned. We always talk about it. Clicking these names, always tough for the Rockies. The lineup's gross, impossible to play away from home. But Nolan Jones in the 6 hole. I think 1 through 9 you can get to these Rockies. There's not a lot of teams I like outside of the Braves on this slate. Like, give me either of these teams. Of course, D-backs, that's not a hot take by any means. But give me the Rockies over the Twins today. Give me the Rockies over the Red Sox. Even the Rockies over the Cardinals. So, yeah. I guess with ownership, I prefer the Rockies side. D-backs, though, game stack Coors. Coors Slappy and me's coming out of old time, but I definitely like it today. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I still think I would prefer the Dodgers and the Braves over these D-backs, and the D-backs are going to be higher owned than both of those. At least that's what I'm seeing projected right now. So naturally, I'm just going to be lower on the D-backs than those other 2 teams. Again, I don't MME. Even if I did MME, I would put those other 2 teams, Dodgers and the Braves, maybe even Texas ahead of these D-backs, to be honest here. But I mean, last 30-day numbers for these D-backs have not been great against lefties. Obviously, Ty Block's not going to throw a ton out there. And then you're going to get kind of a modified bullpen game as well. Obviously, a bullpen game on the Arizona side as well. So Ketel Marte, I think, is fine. Tommy Pham, Christian Walker, Gurriel, Kyle Lewis, if he's in there, I think those guys are fine. Really want the right-handed bats first for me, for Arizona if I'm going to them. I think they're fine mini stack. But, yeah, I don't think I'm going to 5-man either one of these teams. I'm going to be under on Coors. If it burns me, it burns me. That's how I played all year. You either are a Coors guy and you play it every time, or you're like me and you pretty much fade it every time. I think the one time I did push the chips on Coors this year, it was like a 3-1 game, something like that. That's just naturally how it goes. So that's why I'm either all in on Coors or all off. And tonight I think I'm all off again. So D-backs, obviously fine plays, prefer the righties. On the Rockies side, Rockies are going to be definitely lower owned, same hitting conditions. Nolan Jones, I think, Ryan McMahon, Elias Diaz, Tovar. I prefer the top of the lineup, Brendan Rodgers. I don't love Doyle and Montero, Toglia down there too much. Just a ton of strikeouts. I mean, 54%, 39%, 41% for those guys. I just like the lower strikeout guys for what it's worth there. But, yeah, not a ton of interest overall in this game for me.
Differ a little bit. Give me Coors. Give me 27. Little football score today in Coors Field. Get them ready in Denver. We got 3 games left. Again, if you do want to join, just came out last Friday, our NFL bundle, 3-2-1, $321 for 6 months, takes you all the way to Super Bowl Sunday, comes out to $53 a month, down from the $59 a month originally. And at September 11th, when this bundle does go away, prices will go up $69 a month and $699 a year, with NBA coming up, NHL coming up, baseball still going on, MMA, PGA, no better time to join. And I haven't been talking about it, but when you do sign up for that bundle, you get 4 hours of Hoop and Tambo talking everything you need to know about NFL, roster construction, Millie Makers, Hoop 1, live finals Tambo's been to, questions and answers that members had, process questions as well. That is going to be a $59 a piece. That content will be $59 after September 11th, but you do get that for free if you join with that bundle. 3 games left on this slate, Nades. Next game, Baltimore Orioles, San Diego Padres. Jack Flaherty, Michael Wacha on the mound. 75 degrees, 8.5 total. 2 pitchers I respect. I mean, I'm not playing Wacha. First game back in a while. Pitch count won't be there, but I'm not looking to attack him. Jack Flaherty has some interest there, so another game with an X for me. What about you?
Yeah, we're in lockstep. No bats in this one. I like both pitchers. I don't say I like both pitchers, but I just don't want to deal with Wacha on a 13-game slate, not knowing what his pitch count's going to be. And I like Jack Flaherty quite a bit, so no bats in this one for me.
2 games left, Nades. Tampa Bay Rays, San Francisco Giants, Zach Littell, Jacob Junis, and then it's going to more than likely be Sean Manaea. Junis is an opener. Manaea is the long reliever, but we thought that yesterday. Who knows at the end of the day? 65 degrees, though, Pitchers Park. I respect Littell. I don't want to deal with the Manaea, the bullpen, all of that nonsense. So easy X for me as well. And that's what we do it. Why I like Coors more than usual. Great hitting weather. Rocky side will be pretty low owned, but there's just not many spots I really love on this slate. So definitely love the Braves, but nothing for me in this game in San Fran. What about you?
Yeah, no bats for me in this one either. Cross-off spot for me. Not going to really target a bullpen game for the Giants. And then same thing. I don't know how long Littell is going to go, and just don't like either bats. I like other spots much more.
Last game on the slate, Nades. Any interest going out to LA? Our Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Dodgers. Adrian Hauser, Bobby Miller. 80 degrees, like I said, in LA. Don't have these lineups out yet. 10-10 Eastern start time. Bobby Miller, I like him as a pitcher for sure. Not getting any of these Brewers. As far as the Dodgers, 5.14 total, though. Hauser's definitely attackable with lefties. Mookie, Will Smith. I mean, the problem is with these Dodgers lineup now, with all their acquisitions at the deadline, is with Hauser in there, I'm expecting Hayward, Outman, Peralta to be in there. But then when they get pulled, then you go to the righties. Kiki Hernandez, if he's not in there. Chris Taylor. They can just play all the splits. You know the top of the order is not going anywhere, but I like the Braves more as a spend up, like the D-backs more in a vacuum, like the Rock. Like at the end of the day, I just don't have as much interest in this game. Hope the others spend up. I like the Cardinals more than the Dodgers too. So I'll say no. What about you?
Yeah, Dodgers is one of my favorite stacks. Adrian Hauser, I just think he's been playing with gasoline all season long. Now gets the Dodgers. I think it's decent weather actually out in LA, which is kind of crazy to see. I mean, mid-80s, slight wind blowing out. Don't sleep on these Dodgers here. Mookie Betts, Freeman, Will Smith, Muncy, all 4 of those guys are very, very safe. I think Ahmad Rosario even too in there. Obviously, you got some pinch hit concern there with Peralta, Hayward, Kiki, James Outman. If those guys do make the lineup to start, once the Brewers bring in a lefty, a couple of those guys are going to get pulled pinch hit for. But yeah, Dodgers I like a lot. Kind of the staple, especially on FanDuel. I think they're just not going to have a ton of ownership, I don't think, especially at these price points. And I don't think you need to really worry about going 1 through 4 with the Dodgers. I like all 4 of those guys. Add a cheap piece in there to make it work. But yeah, Dodgers one of my favorite, and then no Brewers for me against Bobby Miller. I think he's a fair pitcher play on this slate, and I'm just not going to play these Brewers really outside of Milwaukee, to be honest with you.
Lockstep, Nate. 13 games. Hitting's pretty tough. We'll give your our top 3 stacks because man, after that, it's still like finding the 3rd stack. The Braves are definitely number 1 for me. Picking on Severino, all in on them. I like the Coors game. Can't say the D-backs though. So I'm gonna say the Rocky side of that game. My 3rd favorite, I guess I'm going to go Texas and just keep riding it. I think ownership's going to be really low in the upper tiers. A lot of other teams, the Dodgers, the Cardinals, people are going to want to go elsewhere if they go up and spend for Adolis, for Seegers of the world. So I'll go Texas 3. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going Braves number 1 for sure, far and away number 1 for me. I would go Dodgers number 2, Texas 3, and then my other one is the Twins. I do like the Twins quite a bit here tonight, much more than you like them, but they just fit the roster construction very nicely over on DraftKings.
I like it. Well, I don't like the Twins. I will say that. Hopefully that means they will treat you and whoever else rides them. Let's go low-ish owned pitcher today, Nades. Kind of tough. I'm going to go Kikuchi. He's definitely going to get some ownership, but I like Kikuchi, highest K-prop on the board in the 9K range. I like the idea of going like 2 pitchers, Kikuchi, and then someone else priced above him, whether it's Ober, whether it's Wheeler, something like that, because a lot of people flip the build. People are going to go cheap at pitching, go expensive, gets you different right there. I'll go Kikuchi, though. What about you?
Well, I tell you what, you can save $600 and pair him with my guy, Jack Flaherty, against the Padres. Little 9K for Kikuchi, little 8,400 for Mr. Flaherty. Nice little start with those two. Fill your bats around them. I'm going Jack Flaherty tonight.
Dong of the day time, Nades, and we'll get on out here again. Appreciate that like button for all y'all that did hit it. If you want to join us at SHIPITNation.com, for $321 a month, get you through playoff, get you through Super Bowl Sunday. Join, get in the Discord if you do join, and make sure to check out that 4-hour program Hoop and Tambo did to make you a better NFL player getting ready heading into the year. Dong of the day, I will go first. I want to go someone cheap, though. I'm going to go to your team, the Twins. I don't like, but he treated me well last time with the dong. Matt Wallner, way too cheap down there. Great numbers. He goes deep. Everyone else busts, though, is how I see the Twins. That's what happened last time. Hopefully I'm wrong for your sake, though, Nate. Who do you got, dong of the day?
Yeah, I'm going to go to my favorite team. I'm going to go to the side of the plate, the left side of the plate. Spending all the way up at first base. Feels like a cheat code right now. Matt Olson, 6,100, going to rebound after a letdown game last night. He smashes Severi tonight for at least one in Truist Park. And then I'll give a bonus one, and it's on that same team. It's on that same Twins team. That title is keep slandering on this. Say a little louder so they hear us, because every time that happens, they go off. But it's going to the 2-hole. It's going to Mr. Max Kepler, 3,300 at the outfield position.
I like it. Max Kepler, Matty Olson, Matt Wallner right there. 3. Someone asked, Brock asked for the double dong. Nate Ziv give you the double dong. He came through. Hope everybody out there has a great Tuesday night. For the 231 people watching, maybe I'll get 7 people that's going to be watching some Dana White's Contender Series fights. Catch me in the Discord, hoping to make some money in that. Watching some MLB, enjoying the last days of August before it's all NFL season. See you in the Shipping Nation Discord. For Nadesify, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.